What's going on, guys? Today we're looking at the Glock 48 MOS. My take on it, my custom build. Is this the peak, the final form of the Glock 48? Today we're gonna look at what this gun is, what it used to be, all the changes that's been done, and most importantly, why it is my #1 go-to when I grab a gun for EDC concealed carry. All right, guys, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. My name's Ben with a Korean Marksman. Make sure to stick till the end of the video. We're gonna talk about the build, everything that's been modified and changed, why I've chosen to go with that, reasons why maybe you should consider upgrades like this, or if you have problems that you're looking to solve. This build might be applicable to what you guys are looking at for your own EDC setups, whether it's a Glock 48 or not. And yeah, I'm super excited about this gun. I've had this for a while, and it's in what I believe it to be nearly its final form. So let's dive into it. To get some relationship disclosures out of the way, Charles at Battle Ready Arms, they did 99% of the work here. But Charles has been nothing but helpful in this build and getting it to where it is. Charles did all the custom work, all of the stuff that we'll kind of touch on in a minute here, for free of charge. I didn't get any compensation from Battle Ready Arms. There's no talking points, so this video is my own, and it is with all of these components I'm gonna talk about. Tyrant CNC did me a huge favor. They sent me out all of their little accoutrements for free as well. No money changed hands, no talking points. You know the drill. Same thing with Holosun. They sent me this Optic. This is the SCS carry, green. Same thing, they just gave it to me, no expectations there. So now that those disclosures are out of the way, I can plug DK Mags. But DK Mags has been a fantastic supporter of the channel for years now. They're a gun store local to me in Minnesota. They have a fantastic online catalog, so even if you're not an MN guy, check them out online. They ship, transfer to FFLs, and have a fantastic customer service team. They just got a great team there. If you are local in Minnesota, go on in store, give them a call, whatever. Tell them that I sent you, and they're gonna give you a nice discount off of nearly everything they have in store. Thanks to those guys. All right, guys, time to keep the lights on. Some companies who have sent out some fun products recently, Civivi, they've got some fantastic knives, pocket knives, EDC blades, which this one is more oriented to. I'll have a link to it down below, as well as fixed blades, hatchets, kind of everything a guy who's into edged things would need. So go ahead, check them out. They've got a lot of stuff. Next up, we got Tacta Beaver with their wide range of handgun safes, as well as rifle safes, but that's what we're working with today. So this one's got biometrics. It's got a code as well. It has a handle. You can bolt it into a surface to secure it. Inside I have my trusty dusty home defense weapon, one of them, the Glock 19. On it, I'm featuring the Nightcore weapon light, their MPL 27. This has high candela, decent lumens. The battery can be popped out and recharged without needing to take the weapon light off, so I do like that feature. However, you're gonna run into some issues if you want to holster or carry this guy, so that's why I have it in my kind of nightstand configuration. Great products. Go ahead, check them out if you are interested in any of those. Thanks to all these companies for supporting the channel. Okay, now with all those disclosures out of the way, we can dive into the build, the philosophies, the reasons why, and kind of where this gun's at today. I will kind of be rehashing some of the modifications done that you guys might have seen in the first video of this gun. You guys can check that out at the end because you'll want to stick around for this. So starting kind of, I'm gonna say it, tip to butt. We have the Battle Ready Arms Cerberus porting. It is kind of like a tri-hole. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, probably not. But there's 3 little ports at the front. Don't let the size mislead you. This does a serious job at mitigating and diminishing muzzle rise when you're shooting it. I know some people think that 9mm being as small of a cartridge that it is, when you start to port your gun, especially short guns that don't maximize the powder burn, you're not gonna see anything. But I disagree with that. These ports do a fantastic job at mitigating recoil. I don't have a hard or scientific percentage as to what they do, but me having shot this gun bone stock, slightly modified but not ported, and then ported with a trigger job, the differences, the results are night and day. So very glad that I have that modification, that upgrade done here, because if you're familiar with the channel, I'm a huge sucker for ported guns. That's kind of shifting now as I'm getting into threaded barrels, because now I have a little 9mm suppressor that works with handguns. So I think I might be diving into that realm as well. Some do argue that having ports for a concealed gun is a bad idea. I'm not gonna try and sway you guys as to how you should feel about that, but my personal philosophy is every advantage I can get in terms of being more accountable for the rounds that I send out of this gun, if I need to, God forbid, that's a win, and I'm gonna add it to the gun. And that philosophy is gonna transfer to nearly every upgrade I've done here. Moving on back, we have the AmeriGlow Tritium. It's got an orange glowing dot that glows in the dark as a front sight post. That's an upgrade over the plastic sights because they just suck if you're familiar with Glocks. They can't really be relied on. Even though that's a secondary sighting system on this gun, I wanted to make sure that it was squared away and optimal in case the dot goes down and I have to use them. Kind of talking about the slide cuts, the slide work, we have some windows here. Those came with the porting job, the Cerberus job. So if you guys place that order, you can elect to have window cuts in your slide or not. And it comes with these nice, really grippy serrations that you can wear gloves, you can be barehanded, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get a really great purchase on that gun and be able to rack it consistently and tactilely. Overall, it's just a huge upgrade over what Glock gives you out of the box. They do a little bit of their own kind of, nice touches there, battle ready arms, threw a skull on there to kind of let you know who made it. And then also I had the slide Cerakoted in multicam black. Attention to detail that Charles has is incredible. He actually stripped the slide. He multicammed it once when I got the port job done in V1 of this gun build. And then when I sent out the lower to him to have it multicam blacked, he just stripped it and then did it all over again to make sure that the pattern and the design matched up with the lower. So I'm really pleased with that. I didn't ask him to do that. I didn't think he was gonna do that, but it turns out he cares. Next up here, we're gonna look at the Holosun red dot, or should I say green dot. This thing's been awesome. I'm a huge red dot guy on all of my guns, carry or home defense. I don't think I have a single gun that doesn't have a red dot on it. That's the main reason why I went with the 48 MOS, the modular optic system, because it was cut and ready for a dot. Ready-ish, I should say. Holosun's SCS carry, this dot is fully solar. The battery is internal. The dot is enclosed, which is great. That means that the emitter or the source where the laser comes from and is projected onto the glass is enclosed, fully sealed off from the elements. Belly crust, lint, clothing lint, dust, rain, water, mud, blood, stuff like that. So I definitely am a huge fan of closed emitters. I think that's where the industry is kind of leaning for pistol optics and rifle optics, kind of an additional layer of security so that your emitter doesn't get washed out by crap that you just end up picking up while you're carrying the gun. This dot's been great. I've really loved it. It's green, which, that's okay. They say that green is preferable for those with astigmatisms. I have an astigmatism, and it doesn't really do that much different to me. I can't really perceive any improvement over red, but having the green dot and the orangish front sight does help me to differentiate kind of which sighting system that I'm trying to pick up when I quickly present the gun. So that's an advantage to have different colors for your dot and your front sight post. Something to think about there. The dot is also fully auto brightness adjusting. So there's no like manual buttons that you can push to change the brightness up or down. It's just gonna gauge off of a handful of sensors on the dot what the ambient lighting is around you and then project a certain brightness based on those kind of inputs. And for me, in the past, having tried multiple brands of red dots that come with an auto brightness setting, they've all been crap. Borderline unusable. If you're in a bright setting, like really harsh daylight, bright daylight, and the sun's beating down on you and you pull the gun, the dot it's pretty much washed out. You can't really see it. But this optic's auto brightness settings have been flawless. Even when I'm inside of a darker environment, pointing the gun, like say out a window, which I don't know why I would do that. Probably shouldn't be doing that. But the optic adjusts perfectly and I can still pick up the dot, even if the target is in a brighter context than where I am positionally. One little modification I had to make on the dot, I guess on the slide to accommodate the dot, I had to shave off with a Dremel a couple of metal, retaining posts built into the slide in the Glock's MOS system. And I had to shave down the right side, so the side where the screw that interfaces with the extractor, it has essentially direct access down into that channel to block it if the screw's too long, and then shave down a screw lengthwise so that extraction would function reliably. Maybe that's a deal breaker for some of you guys. I'm sure some of you don't want to modify your slide, especially yourself, so I thought that would be worthwhile to bring up. But for me, that's something super easy to do. It took literally maybe 5 minutes round trip, and now the dot is mounted up really securely, Loctited down on the screws, of course, but it functions reliably. It maintains 0, and I don't have to worry about battery life. So the rated lifetime, the rated lifespan of this dot's internal battery is 10 years. So in theory, for 10 years, I can run this dot, not have to worry about, and know that every time I take it out of the gun safe and expose it to light photons, that solar panel is gonna be charging up, topping off that battery, kind of resetting that 50,000 hour clock on it up until 2035. So that's a really, really nice feature. Kind of like one less thing you have to worry about, especially if you have gotten into the groove of changing out your pistol optics once a year, maybe twice a year, but it just gives you a little added peace of mind there. It's multi-reticle. I haven't taken advantage of that. I just use the dot reticle, but this thing has been freaking awesome. It's probably the cherriest red dot that I have on any of my builds currently, so really pleased with its performance. On the slide, still we've got a little slide end cap plate from Tyrant, that's in gold, and it just adds kind of a nice touch there. No actual like performance gains with that. Moving on down, we've got some more Tyrant stuff. We have their extended slide catch. That makes it really, really easy to pop the slide after a reload. And for me, I do have smaller hands, so you guys might have to kind of figure this out for yourself, but based on the grip that I have, I usually grip the gun in a kind of traditional competition shooter's grip. The slide catch is not too extra that my grip makes the gun lock back after every shot, even when I grip it higher with my middle finger on the trigger guard. So that's just one thing to be aware of. The extended slide catch isn't too extended to the point where if I grip the gun's gonna be locking back on every shot. So that's great because some extended slide releases do kind of struggle with that, depending on your hand size. So I probably have smaller hands than most dudes. So you might want to kind of test that, flush that out for yourself. We have their extended magazine release, which sometimes does send out the mag when I don't want it to, especially when I'm off body carrying. So make note of that. We have their pins, which are gold and nice. We have their IntelliFire trigger with a red shoe and a gold trigger safety. Personally, I love all of this stuff from Tyrant. I think it looks amazing, but also their trigger, it just feels much, much nicer over the stock Glock trigger. Their trigger shoe kind of tapers off in such a way that when you depress it all the way, you still feel it kind of poking your finger, which isn't great. I want my trigger safety, if there is one, if there's a blade safety at all, to depress fully into the trigger shoe and be like totally flush, so that as you pull it, you only feel a flat surface and not something that's like has raises, ridges, and edges. I don't know the science behind that, but I'm sure, I mean, at least subjectively for me, it doesn't aid in having a predictable trigger pull, reset, all those kind of things. All these parts are pretty easy to install. They just kind of drop in and you're good to go. They require a little bit of finagling, but not that much. Kind of the star of the show here is the hybrid stipple job from Battle Ready Arms. They did a fantastic freaking job. He put texture exactly where I needed it, where I wanted it. I wanted texture for the thumb on the support hand to kind of grip in almost as a gas pedal, and then even on the other side as a positive place to press into with my trigger finger while I'm trying to maintain safety. It also is just symmetrical and looks great, feels great. What else he did is laser etched this pattern here on the sides to make the gun a little bit softer, not as textured, so that when my t-shirt rides over it, it's not gonna be ripping holes in it, because I have tons of shirts that have little micro holes from carrying guns that I've stippled myself that I've kind of maybe gone over the board with texture. And so this kind of carry stipple style is perfect for EDC guns because it gives you the grip and the bite where you need it on the front, on the back, where you're pinching down, but then it keeps it pretty smooth, although still better than the Glock OEM texture they provide on the pistol grip. And man, I think it just looks so nice. I mean, come on guys. Some corrective work they did in the version 1 video I made. I took a angle grinder and a Dremel and I shaved down the Glock hump here. A lot of Glocks are notorious for coming way out on the kind of back strap there. And so I took a angle grinder with a grinding disc and I just shaved down that material. Charles, when he got the lower sent in, he was like, hey dude, this is like pretty brittle and there's a lot of flex because of how much material you've removed. So he did some black magic, epoxy, Kydex kind of stuff, and essentially added material to reinforce this part that I had diminished. And I also did a double undercut underneath the trigger guard, which means that I took a Dremel, I removed material here so that I could get a higher purchase with my middle finger. And then I also removed texture underneath the trigger guard, kind of in that middle portion, to allow my support hand, index finger to come up and really rest inside. Charles found that with the slimline Glocks, there's just not enough polymer under the trigger guard to really legitimately pull it off. So what he did is he flattened it out, he added more of that magic goop and reinforced the trigger guard for me. And don't worry, he did add plenty of texture there, looking beautiful for my support hand to bite down. So I didn't even tell him that I did those 2 modifications. I mean, obviously he saw the undercut, but he might not have noticed that hump unless he had really gone over the entire gun with. So I was just really pleased when he let me know that's one of the things that he did. What else do we got here? Let's see. He did a trigger polish. So he polished the internals on the trigger to essentially make it feel just a lot better. It lightens the trigger pull a little bit, but more importantly, it makes it very consistent. So all your take up there is met by a solid wall, a little bit of creep, and then a really predictable pull. You rack it, nice reset. It turned this, I mean, this gun, I was considering selling it even after V1 of the mods he did. He gave me the ports, he did a lot of the slide work. I still wasn't happy with it. The trigger was my biggest hang up. It pulled too heavy and the trigger shoe felt like crap. And I just felt it kind of slowing me down, limiting what I could do with the gun. After the polish job and after this trigger shoe replacement, this gun is freaking phenomenal. I love it. I think it's at a pull weight that is appropriate for carry as opposed to like competition where you want maybe lighter triggers. I think it balances safety and predictability, performance really, really well. And to me, it makes it absolutely worth it to keep this gun long term. Additionally, I have a little, what is this thing called? Ghost Ink butt plug. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but it just fills that little underside hole on the back of the slimline Glocks that allow you to get dust in, crap in, hopefully not literal crap, but you never know. And it just kind of seals that off. So kind of some peace of mind there. Last modification I've done is the Palmetto State Armory 15 round magazines. It just gives you +5 capability without having to switch to a metal mag catch. These have been nothing but reliable for me. I know some people have had issues with them, so maybe get a handful and then kind of test, put them through their paces, whether or not you can trust your life to carrying your hollow points in the PSA mags over stock. The rounds that I carry are Federal HSTs, 147 grain, and yeah, they're great. Okay, so now that we've talked about the build, I've been so pleased with how this gun has performed. I took it out to the range and I literally shot the best I have ever had with a handgun. A lot of people call the Glock 48 the skinny 19 because it's, apart from girth, pretty much identical dimension-wise to the 19. And with the slimline form often comes compromises in terms of shootability, recoil management, accuracy, kind of all those things. Typically with slimline guns comes a compromise of you can carry it more easily, you're not printing as much, but your performance on paper and down range is gonna be compromised as opposed to like a Glock 19, something more fuller bodied. But after all of this stuff done here, this Glock is so good, guys. It's doing exactly what I need it to do. It's performing way better than a slimline gun really should, in my opinion. The perfect balance between safety, reliability, because you got that with Glocks, but also shootability, concealment, kind of all my requirements that I have for an EDC gun, especially in the warmer months in the summer, kind of like we're in right now, where I'm not wearing as many layers to cover up a potentially thicker gun. So I've been nothing but pleased and even surprised with how this gun's performed. I've heard from other people that they love the Glock 48, but the only thing they can't get over has been the trigger or the recoil or the round capacity. But I feel like with the way that this gun has been perfected for me, it really leaves me wanting nothing else. Some of you might be down in the comment section already typing out, oh, if you have to modify a gun to make it what you need it to be, what you want it to be, then you shouldn't buy that gun. Just buy a more expensive gun that gives you exactly what you want out of the box. For me, I really like getting a gun stock, getting to know it, and then kind of slowly modifying, slowly building out what exactly I want it to be after I found issues with what it is. What gun is gonna feel incredible to one person might be different for another. Currently, I don't have a weapon light on this gun. I did used to have a TLR7 sub, but I've taken that off and I just wanna run this gun kind of slick. I do carry a handheld light on me at all times. And this gun isn't like the nightstand home defense gun. It just goes in a concealed carry gun safe. And that's the only role that it serves. So I feel like for concealed carry, this gun is really amazing. I think it's right up there with SIG's P365X macro, which I also have, and I've been just really impressed with how it's been done. In terms of cons for me, the only con that I've had with this gun has been the way that it carries. It does tend to print a little bit more. It almost tips forward outside of kind of where it's making contact with my stomach, more so than like the SIG P365X macro. That could be due to holster issues. I'm not running a fantastic holster. So I might have to play around with that a little bit more, but I do absolutely shoot better with this gun than I do my X macro. So it is worth trying to work around that aspect. So yeah, guys, that's the gun. That's what I'm working with here. This is what I'm gonna be carrying for the near future, at the very least. Super stoked about it. Really grateful to all the companies who are willing to partner with the channel on this build. And I hope that maybe some of these insights, these upgrades, might have kind of spoken into something that you guys have been thinking about doing to your EDC guns, whether it comes to the functional stuff like the ports, or the extended controls, the trigger jobs, or even just kind of the aesthetic things like the gold, the colors, the camo. Thanks guys so much for watching. Really appreciate your time here. Let me know if you have any questions about the gun, the build, or my experience with it so far in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe for more content just like this. As always guys, God bless you and your families. Stay safe out there, and remember to always live a life worth defending. We'll see you in the next one.